Welcome to today's conversation. I'm Gerda, and I'm honored to be joined by Signa Dauskane Platace, the creator of Doctor as a Healer and Signe Inspiration, a mentor, a transformation coach, supporting doctors in reconnecting with themselves and their calling. Hello, Signe. How are you today?
Hi, Gerda. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. So, actually, before we go deeper into the doctor as a healer, I'd love to take a step back for a moment because every mission begins with the personal story, right? So, maybe I can ask you a very first question, which would be, can you tell us a little bit about the journey as a doctor and what led you to the work you're doing today?
Thank you for the question. That way was not easy, not fast, not like everyone would do, but this was my own way. So I started at the age of 13 working in a hospital. And by then, I thought that I will become a musician or artist, but no way a doctor. But from the first sight at the surgical room, I fell in love with medicine instantly. And all of a sudden, my dream was to become a surgeon. That was a huge shock for my family and for everyone around me who knew me back then. But so I said, that's my decision. And I just want to be a doctor. I want to help people. I want to help them survive. And I want to be in medicine. And then in 1992, I started my studies at medical school in Latvia. Of course, we have different medical system, studying system than in America. So I started my studies in Latvian Medical Academy. And let's say in 6, 7 years, I graduated. But this was the time when medicine in post-Soviet Union countries went through major, I would say, crisis, major turning points in every possible aspect, in treatment plans, guidelines, in equipment, and in everything. So, and also in salaries. And all of a sudden, doctors were one of the poorest people in the country because the salaries were very extremely low. And to survive, many doctors were forced to accept illegal payments from patients directly. And I realized that this is not my way. I wouldn't sleep good at night doing this. And I realized that something is wrong here or missing. And then I was introduced to law because I met one person who became very important in my life, like a role model. Yeah, and I became very much interested in law. And soon after that, I discovered that Latvian medical system is very far from legal regulations. Uh, Doctors live by their means, maybe by evidence-based guidelines, but as everything in this life actually requires some basic attachment to legal aspects, medical law, patient rights, etc. And so I became very much interested in medical law. And up to 2008, I was so much involved with legal aspects. I created Patient Rights Office of Latvia in 2001, right after graduation from medical school and right after I started my studies in law. And those years were very intensive. I started exploring what does actually means medical law, patient rights, and all those relationships in between patients and doctors and medical system. And yeah, me and my colleagues, we initiated Patient Rights Law of Latvia. And it took several years to actually have this law in force. in my country, in my home country. And of course, I was working with medical professionals ever since by teaching, by guiding, by explaining, because my natural gift is to explain very complicated matters in a very simple way. And I love doing this. So that's why maybe I'm here as well, because I also love explaining complicated, let's say, esoteric aspects, metaphysical aspects, quantum physics aspects into the simple words for everyone to understand. And then in 2008, I created, at that point, the best medical clinic in Latvia, which looked like one of the members of huge medical clinic chain, because everyone who came to my clinic always asked, "Oh, do you belong to some American medical clinic chain or European?" And at first I was like, why do you ask me such a question? But then people said, everything is so up to the point and so perfect. It can't be that this is just one separate clinic. But my answer was always this clinic maybe is really unique because I'm the creator, the founder of that with my teams, of course. But in the center of medical system should be patient. This is what I strongly believe in. And that's why I created my first clinic, Premium Medical, in Riga, because I wanted to show medical system. I wanted to show my colleagues working in hospitals and other clinics that if you fully see that medical system is not created for doctors or from system itself, but for patients, then medical system and medical processes looks totally different. Because right now, I strongly believe worldwide, none of the systems sees people involved in this way. They always think and they always focus on how it's easier for system, how it's more convenient, how to make the system work for doctors benefit or big pharma benefit or guideline benefit or whatever, but not the patient. And yeah, this was a huge problem and it still is. And looking at the processes worldwide, I see that this process is even deepened in the past 2 decades, and that everything becomes very systemized. Systems don't see each person as a person, but just as a member of the huge system. And yeah, I tried with my clinic to show that there is a way to work differently. There is a way to look at what you do as a doctor differently. And I really love my first clinic, which we opened in January of 2008. When I was educating medical professionals back then for 15 years, actually, this was the process when I not just held some lectures or explained complicated theories or theoretical material or law, interpretation of law for doctors, but also very new and unique concepts came to me. And back then I thought, oh, this is me who created those concepts. But only in the past 5-6 years, when I'm working as a healer, mentor, and transformation coach, I understand now that all those concepts came to me in a process of channeling, actually. And they were very unique, very powerful. And every time when I presented such concepts to doctors, they said, Signe, why no one is teaching this at the medical school? Why this is not in the books? Why no one is talking about this? And back then, I didn't really think about it. I was just explaining, I was just inspiring my colleagues to become better doctors, because this is what's important. If you are better doctor, if you know who you are, if you see your role truly as it's meant to be, then you are doctor with a capital D. And so, if you are listening to this, I believe you are definitely the one who has this potential. And what means potential? You are open to dig deeper. You are open to find what's missing in your current life as a doctor, and you want to change something. Even if you are here and you are listening to me just by coincidence, there is no coincidence, doctor. You are here because you are ready. And my understanding is, throughout those 25 years working in a medical system in very different positions, I walked in a very different shoes, and I see that the point is, you never really accepted that besides your education, your academic knowledge, your understanding of guidelines or procedures, there is you, doctor. And you see yourself maybe as a little screw in a huge mechanism who has to do what you have to. And this is a problem, because behind every consultation, there is not only patient and illness or diagnosis, there is also you as a professional and as a personality. But system, I would say, hate this idea, because this is very inconvenient to see that you, doctor, you are important. System don't love that. System just want you to prescribe what you should. This medicine, that medicine, you should send patient to expensive treatments or expensive examinations. And so you just make money for system. Unfortunately, this is the naked truth. But you are way more, way, way, way more. And if you focus on your inner knowledge, and if you see patient as a whole, the outcome of this visit, of this consultation, would be totally different. Believe me. This is not just the concept itself. This is what really impacts outcome of the consultation. And your patient is coming to you not for those prescriptions or examinations or just diagnosis. Your patient comes to you seeking for healing. And healing is a very powerful and multidimensional word. You can heal your patient with your prescriptions, which is good, fine. This is what you have to do because you are a licensed specialist. But what your patients actually seek coming to you is your healing power. They are looking for healer within you. They are looking for support, your heart, your deep understanding, and your energy. If you would don't deny your healing abilities coming from previous incarnations, in simple words, from your previous lives, then you would see that every consultation, in outpatient clinics or in hospital beds with your patients, would be different, because you would not focus so much on what you learned in this life. You would focus more on your gut feeling, intuition, what you see, what you feel, what you read from the field of your patients, and you will communicate with your patient on a very, very different level. So it's a multidimensional level, and only working like this with your patients, you can actually expect for outstanding results, health results in your patients. And when you sometimes wonder why your colleague in a medical school or your colleague in a hospital or outpatient clinic, why this colleague has such a huge, audience wishing to visit this doctor. Es nezinu, es kaut kā stulbi pateicu. So when you are wondering why one doctor is very popular amongst patients and another one is not, the real answer is your colleague, which is popular among people. This doctor has a heart. This doctor has ability to open their heart when working with people. Of course, they follow protocols. Of course, they follow guidelines when needed. But most of the time, they are in their healing field because they don't deny their healer within. Think about it. Think about it. Maybe push the pause button and think about this concept for a minute. Do you feel like you have this healing abilities? Do you feel like you have previous lives as a healer of different kinds? And if yes, think about it. Who would you become if you wouldn't deny those abilities? If you would acknowledge that you are more than just a graduate from your medical school?